Welcome to round 10 of the Cooper Tires Prototype Lights powered by Mazda from beautiful Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, and the famous Road America. I'm joined today by Tony Castanera, who will be calling this wonderful race with us.
Well, thanks, Matt. I'm glad to be here, and especially glad to be here at Road America, Elkhart Lake. It's probably the iconic road course in North America.
Well, it looks like we've got a fantastic grid for round 10. As the cars get bunched up, let's take a look back at round 9 and see what happened in the first weekend's race. As we see Sean Rahal gets a jump at the start, followed by Ryan Booth and Dan Goldberg. It looks like it's a great start. Green flag for round 9. These are the highlights from the first weekend's race.
Well, I like to see Goldberg actually going out there and putting a little push to the guys in front, because it's been mainly a Booth and Rahal show most of the season.
Yeah, Ryan Booth and Sean Rahal are the two young guns. We see a little bit of dirt being kicked up off track. One thing to remember with these spec class cars, they're all going to be running very tight with each other because they have the same engine properties and aerodynamic properties, and really it's the driver that divides them. As we see them staying packed up, Mikhail Goldberg getting right up on the bumper, trying to make a pass to the inside on Sean Rahal. We'll see if he can make that stick.
Well, that's what makes this series so special. It's a development series. It's for the drivers to see who's the better driver and who's better set up, because it has nothing to do with the engineering to design of the car. They're all equal.
Absolutely, and we see number 18, Ryan Booth, coming around the famous carousel, such a high-speed bend, and we see, as we look through the highlights, one of the orange 8-Star Motorsports cars battling it out, and there was a lot of on-track action.
It was hard to make out.
Yeah, absolutely, and the safety car was called out. Love it when the safety cars come out, not for the reason the safety cars come out, but it bunches the field back together. And when you bunch these Prototype Lights cars back together, you get exciting restarts, as we're about to see here as Sean Rahal moves to the outside of Dan Goldberg, crossing the start-finish line. Ryan Booth leading him off the line once again.
Well, Booth has been the class of the field most of the season with Sean Rahal and Dan Goldberg, but we can't forget about the guys farther back, especially in the Masters class.
Absolutely. As we see, unfortunately, one of the Masters entries, number 88, Dan Whalen, and number 65, Lamont Harris, having a little bit of problems on their own. It's always going to happen. And we see the number 5, 8-Star Motorsports entry. He has really got an issue going on here. It looks like that's going to be a day done for, and he's got a fire. So
that was Gustavo Torres. I hope he's okay, but they put that out quickly, I'm sure.
Oh, that's a nice fire there. Unfortunately, that's going to do a lot of damage to that car. And we get another green flag. Ryan Booth leads Sean Rahal to the line. Dan Goldberg peeks outside, looking to the inside of turn 1. Can't make it stick. Dan Goldberg's going to settle back in the third. Mikhail Goldberg and John Brownson battling for the 4th and 5th position. As we see the cars raging around this track, number 96, Daniel Mancini, getting a little bit of lockup, running wide. That's going to happen when you're battling it out as hard as these guys do.
Well, that's what the series is for. It's for you to find out where your limits are, what kind of driver you are, and to see who's going to go on to the next level.
44, Richard Fant, Ferrari of Houston entry. There was a lot of attrition during these races, as we see Scott Tucker, Level 5 Motorsports. A lot of people, ooh, that was close.
Very close.
Level 5 Motorsports, you'll understand that name. You'll have heard it before from the LMP2 class in the American Le Mans Series. Level 5 Motorsports runs one of the championship cars.
You have to hand it to Scott Tucker. He races the whole week, and he races the lights class. Then he'll race both the cars in the LMP2 class during the main race.
He is the Iron Man. As we see Ryan Booth, Sean Rahal, Daniel Goldberg coming around on the final lap. They're heading under the Caterpillar walk bridge. By the way, great viewing point from those stairs over there for those who didn't know. And Ryan Booth is going to take the checkered flag, followed by Sean Rahal and Dan Goldberg. So we have Ryan Booth of Performance Tech taking the win, followed by Sean Rahal of Confident Motorsports, and Dan Goldberg in third place, rounding it out. Fantastic round 9. So let's take a look at the starting lineup for round 10. We see already see Ryan Booth and Sean Rahal getting a little bit close there.
Well, they're under starters orders, and they bunch up. Really nice side-by-side grid coming up the Road America straight, heading up to that uphill down to turn 1.
Absolutely, the cars are grouped nicely together as we see Ryan Booth and Sean Rahal making a run down the Road America straight. It's a green flag for round 10 of the Cooper Tires Prototype Lights powered by Mazda. Ryan Booth gets a good lead as we go on board. Sean Rahal, gives him a little bump as they head into turn 1. That's a fast corner. That's going to be a little bit testy throughout the day as we see Ryan Booth fighting that car heading out of the apex.
Everybody keeps on trying to make that pass at turn 1, but it never seems to stick. They do trade their paint, though.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, we got a spin. That is the number 44 car of Richard Fant, Ferrari of Houston entry. We'll see if he can get that restarted. It looks like he's in a pretty safe area as we see Dan Goldberg getting a run on number 10. Mikhail Goetberg, he's going to try to make the pass coming down the Marine sweep into turn 5 as we see Ryan Booth, Sean Rahal, nose to tail, Dan Goldberg in 3rd, Mikhail Goetberg in 4th, and Scott Tucker of Level 5 Motorsports, 1st place Masters class and 5th place overall.
And yes, that is the Scott Tucker of the Level 5 Racing, the LMP2 class in the American Le Mans Series.
As we mentioned earlier, he is the Iron Man of sports car racing in America. He tries to put his seat in anything he can. He's Ferraris, lights, LMP2. Wherever Scott Tucker can run, he's going to do it as we see Ryan Booth leading him around the carousel here at Road America.
Well, that's what this series is for the young guys to get the experience and learn the competition and how to set up the car and how to drive, and for the older guys to get some extra street time or even just enjoy themselves.
As we see 2 of those older guys, Masters class, the black car of the 05 Level 5 entry of Scott Tucker being followed closely by the number 34 Eurosport Racing entry of John Brownson. I like to call John Mr. Excitement because he always has a great race to watch.
He always puts on a good show, and the guy, he's one of the masters who has a lot of experience in racing, and so he's not the guy who's probably going to make a mistake out there.
Absolutely. John is a great driver, a lot of experience, great to watch, and he wins a lot of class races. And he also gets on the podium overall. So fantastic to see John out there pushing it for the Masters class. As we see the end of lap 1, it's Ryan Booth followed by Sean Rahal, building up a little bit of a lead on Dan Goldberg and the 4th place car of Mikhail Goetberg.
And is it true they call him in the paddock the Mad Russian?
You know what? I have not heard that, but it does sound like it would fit quite well.
Well, that's his name now. I just gave it to him.
The Mad Russian. That's forever we're going to be calling Comrade Goetberg the Mad Russian. As we see them working on getting the 44 car of Richard Fant removed from the track, just a local yellow, no full course caution. Ryan Booth and Sean Rahal continuing to pull out their lead. Let's talk about the L1 prototype class as we go on board with Ryan Booth. The L1 prototype class is a spec class. It's a chassis built by Elan Motorsports Technologies. It's a 2-liter, 4-cylinder Mazda MCR engine, producing about 235 horsepower with a top speed of up to about 170 miles an hour. Fast, light, lots of power, great around the corners. These cars are extremely exciting.
Yeah, don't kid yourself here. These aren't go-karts. These are real purpose-built race cars. A lot of downforce. If you look at the back and you see the huge ground effects tunnels, these cars really stick, especially with those Cooper tires.
Absolutely. The Cooper tires really help these cars get a lot of grip going around these very tight, high-speed turns that you get in the IMSA prototype lights and the Cooper Tires prototype lights powered by Mazda. As we see number 79, Anthony Downs, one of our viewers will know that name, Anthony Downs. He's done a lot of the commentary with us in the past. As we see the Level 5 car of Scott Tucker, that is the number 19 entry of Matt McMurray. Matt McMurray, he can't make the pass stick, runs a little wide, and it looks like he was going to lose not only the opportunity to pass Scott Tucker, but also a position, several positions.
Something's happened to him. It's hard to tell.
Maybe he's just trying to get his groove back in and get everything gathered back together. It looks like he's picked speed back up. Matt McMurray is 15 years old.
I wouldn't even let him cut my grass.
As we see the Masters class side by side, Scott Tucker and John Brownson battling it out. Looks like John's going to take that position heading into turn 1. And Anthony Downs really putting on a great show here. Anthony's a great, experienced driver. He's very consistent. Maybe we'll have to start calling Anthony Downs the Iceman. He tries not to make a lot of mistakes. So he's very, very consistent.
Well, you have to, what you said about John Brownson is totally correct. Watch that pass on Scott Tucker. That was so professional, nice and clean. It was smooth.
Yeah, very smooth. John is one of those people that really gets after it, and he's an exciting driver to watch. But he's also very aggressive, but still maintains that ability to be smooth, making those passes without being overly aggressive.
Controlled aggression.
Controlled aggression. Very nice balancing act.
Looks like Booth has pulled out a little bit of a gap now on Ray Hall. But still, Ray Hall's right there, ready to pounce if Booth makes any kind of mistake.
Absolutely. As we hear the commercial music coming in, Ryan Booth continues to lead here for round 10 of the Cooper Tires Prototype Lights, powered by Mazda. We'll be right back. And we're back to round 10 of the Cooper Tires Prototype Lights, powered by Mazda, from beautiful Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. This segment is brought to you by Motorsport.com. Motorsport.com is the online authority for news, videos, and photos of motorsports around the world. We see the leader, number 18, Ryan Booth, being pursued by Sean Rahal of Comparant Motorsports as they're heading up out of turn 14, up the Road America straight. And we see some issues for Eurosport Racing. That is Joel Janko. We'll get some word on that. But let's first go on board with Dan Goldberg for a lap around Road America. Road America is an extremely fast, high-speed track as we head into turn 1, hitting the apex, rolling out beautifully, heading down turn 2, and getting set up to the outside for the right-hander, turn 3, down into third gear, accelerating out, heading into the very slight turn 4, right under the Sargento Bridge, heading across very high-speed area, beautiful, through the trees, around the moraine sweep, getting set up, hard braking for turn 5, sharp left-hander, and there's going to be a little bit of a brief uphill right as you crest, right at the Corvette Bridge, another hard left-hander, turn 6, running through the gears up to third, fourth, keeping it almost flat or totally flat, going through turn 7, and across the Hurry Downs, leading up into the very sharp turn 8. Heading across turn 8 and under the Johnsonville Bridge into the extremely famous turn 9, turn 10 complex, also known as the Carousel. Up through the gears and under the Hawk Bridge, keeping it flat through the infamous kink, site of many a high-speed accident back through the many years of history in road course racing here at Road America. Down through the Kettle Bottoms, again, a beautiful tree-lined area, into Canada Quarter, turn 12, up through Thunder Valley, and into turn 13 to Bill Mitchell Bend, getting set up for the last corner, turn 14. It's a higher speed third gear. Important to get a good exit, high-speed exit off this, as you're going to be running up through the gears, uphill. It's going to want to hold your speed back, running up through the gears into fifth gear, into sixth gear, and across the line. That's a lap of Road America.
Thanks, Matt, and we're back with the action right now. And, of course, Ryan Booth is still in the lead over Sean Rahal.
Absolutely, Sean Rahal and Ryan Booth, two of the young guns here at the Cooper Tires Prototype Lights, powered by Mazda. Let's not forget about the ladder system. The ladder system is something extremely important. Oh, and we got a wreck. Looks like a spin there, and it's difficult to see the car number. That is the 5 car of Gustavo Torres. Wow. Let's see if we can get a replay.
He's not having a good weekend, is he?
No, he's not. And it looks like from the tire marks there, that looks like he just overcooked it coming out of the corner, and oversteer spun to the inside. Let's see if we can get a replay and see exactly what happened.
He hit those tires pretty hard. That's testimony to the strength of this chassis.
And here under replay, we see him. He's trying to move to the inside, overshoots the corner, and he oversteers, spins to the inside, and goes through one of the sponsor banners and into the tires some.
Taps the tires, but still little or no damage to the car, and he's back on track.
Yeah, well, we'll see if there's any mechanical damage that results from that suspension. Sometimes those things are hard to see. Running on board with number 18, Ryan Booth, really gives you an appreciation of the speed going back through these tree-lined areas, heading up into Canada Corner, turn 12. These cars are extremely fast, very, very responsive through the corners.
Very responsive. A lot of downforce, as I said before, and those Cooper tires, I mean, they grip the track.
Absolutely, yeah. You very rarely do you see a lot of grip issues in these races. Any grip issues are going to come from generally some sort of mechanical error. There's going to be some suspension problem. The grip issues don't come from the tires.
Or a driver error, as we saw with Gustavo Torres overcooking it a bit. You can see how much grip the chassis has just by looking at the rear wing. Those things are trimmed out almost flat.
Yeah, and these cars are running very high-speed trim as we see John Brownson coming across the line, followed by Mikhail Goetberg. You know, these are all fantastic racers, all different ages, all different areas of the world. We have a lot of South American drivers represented. We have Mikhail Goetberg, who is Russian by birth, who is in the field. You know, we had Tristan Nunez last year, who's moved up in the ALMS, running an LMPC car, and doing a fantastic job there as part of the ladder system. I mentioned earlier, talking about the ladder system, is if you are the champion in the L1 class, you do get the opportunity to move up into LMPC in the American Muscle. It's part of the Mazda ladder system, and it's really a great way of taking Scott Tucker out into the gravel. And
Looks like he got to the marbles there and just lost traction and got into the gravel, and that's he's going to be stuck there a while.
Yeah, it looks like he's buried up to the floor, so I doubt he's going to be able to get that thing moving. Looks like there's no damage to the car. Maybe there was some sort of mechanical issue, maybe some sort of suspension issue. These cars do bump and bang a little bit when they're going into turns, and we're going to get a replay, and it looks like he just overcooks it in the corner. There's a little bit of puff of smoke.
Yeah, he locked it up there. Looks like he got into the marbles and just went off into the gravel trap.
Huh. Very interesting there. Hopefully we'll be able to get some word of what actually happened as we return back to the action. And Scott Tucker is still in the cockpit. Maybe he's talking to the crew, trying to determine what's going on. That car's full of gravel.
Yeah, he's hoping for a tow to get it back out there, maybe put a couple more laps on. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's pretty much done for today.
Yeah, we saw the safety car come by. They're going to tend to him as we see Ryan Booth clocking another lap in this 45-minute timed race. Another thing to remember for new viewers, the Prototype Lights races are timed races. We have 2 races at each event. The first race is a 30-minute race, which we saw highlights from earlier in the broadcast, and this is the 45-minute finale race for the weekend. So you'll see references to round 9, round 10. Round 9 is our 30-minute race. Round 10 is our 45-minute race. So it's a great way of really getting a good amount of seat time for these guys, and that's why you see guys like Scott Tucker and Ed Brown participating in this series, because it's great seat time in a very fast prototype.
Well, it is, like you said, the ladder series for the ALMS for endurance racing, and those are all time races also. So it makes sense to have these timed also. And so it's not about how many laps you do. It doesn't matter if it's raining or snowing or whatever. It's going to be 45 minutes.
That's right. And mentioning rain, we saw last year with the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park a huge downpour. These cars also, just like most sports car and endurance racing, if it rains, these cars are running in the rain. So that's a great experience for a lot of drivers who are making it up into higher levels of professional racing. They get to experience and that is another spin, same mistake by the same car. Number 5, Gustavo Torres, overcooked it again coming out of turn 14.
He's going to have to work on that.
Yeah, that is we alluded to that there may be some sort of mechanical issue, but I would imagine that this is simply driver error. It's one of those corners that sometimes people can overcook it going through, and that's exactly what we see here. Overcooks it, oversteers, spins to the inside.
Well, that's what this series is for.
Exactly. That is exactly what this series is for. It is for driver development. That's why it is called a development series. And he's back on track, running around, clocking those laps. No damage, no harm, no foul, except losing place and position.
And the only harm is done to his ego.
Yeah, that's something that's probably the most easily damaged component of any of these cars. As we see Gustavo Torres heading under the Sargento Bridge, it looks like he's getting that car back up to speed. Maybe he's getting his nerves settled back down a little bit, getting himself composed, as we see the number 34 car of John Brownson, leader in the L1 Masters class, And John Brownson is doing a heck of a job here as we're coming down through turn 2, heading into turn 3. John Brownson, he's leading the 5th place car overall of number 10, Mikhail Goldberg. Mikhail Goldberg finished 2nd in the championship last year. That just goes to show you how competitive this series is.
Well, when you talk about the Masters Series, of course, these are men for over, well, not men or women over the age of 40. It's kind of scary thinking that anybody over 40 is a master. It's like the old guys now. But, just to show this guy's had experience, and Mikhail is learning. Following a guy who has a lot of experience is a good way to learn.
Absolutely, and we've got a glimpse there of the safety car tending to the number 05 car of Scott Tucker, just a local yellow. IMSA does not throw a full course caution for every minor incident. As we see Scott Tucker dejected, looks quite upset getting out of his car. He's not a happy camper, so maybe there was a little bit of backstory there, but or maybe he just driver error and he's upset with himself. Who knows? But needless to say, he's not very happy to be out of this.
Well, now he has to find a ride back to the pits because he's got another race to run.
Yeah, that's true. He is the Ironman. We talked about that. So he's got to get back to Road America's not a short track either. As we see, number 18, Ryan Booth of Performance Tech, continuing to lead. Ryan did win the first race, round 9, and we're going to head to a quick break here. So make sure you come back with us. Will Ryan Booth be able to stay out in front of the other young gun, Sean Rahal? We'll find out when we come back after this break. We'll be right back.
And we're back here at the Prototype Lights race at Road America at Elkhart Lake.
Wonderful race going on here. We've got about 28 minutes left in this 45-minute timed race. Ryan Booth kicking up a little dust. He's not going to back off a bit because he knows that if he backs off a bit, Sean Rahal will pounce on him.
I have to say, this kid, Ryan Booth, is really impressing me. He's not only fast, but he's smooth.
Yes, he's a very good, experienced driver, and he's well coached, too.
And he hasn't put a wheel off anywhere. The car looks spotless.
And
as opposed to Lamont here.
Mentioning wheels off, Lamont Harris has spun. Car number 65 of Competent Motorsports. Lamont is one of the Masters class entries, and that looks like, is that Canada Corner? I believe that's coming off of Canada Corner.
And amazingly, he got it out of the gravel. Unfortunately, he decided to cut in front of 2 guys at speed.
That's a little bit of a bad move. And looks like he's maybe going to be able to get that back up to speed. We'll see if that was just driver error. Possibly if we can get a replay, we'll be able to check that out.
He's probably dumping a lot of marbles and gravel all over the track.
And that is not in replay. I thought we were getting a replay, but that's actually him heading off the track at turn 14. He must have some sort of mechanical issue for him to be losing grip.
And discretion's better port of valor. He's pulling into the pits to check the car out.
Yep, that's a good move on his part. When in doubt, pull into the pits and check it out. And we are going to look at a replay, and the camera's a little late, so we're getting it way past the apex, but it looks like, I don't know, it's very difficult to tell from that angle.
He was in the middle of the track and he just spun. It looks like there's something wrong with the suspension setup on that car.
Yeah, and as we see Lamont's getting this car pulled onto pit road, he's going to head down to his pit box, get it checked out a little bit. Ryan Booth heading around turn 14, beginning to run into some lapped traffic. And Sean Rahal, that's one of the great things about this series is because you're running multiple different classes, multiple different skill sets, the young guns, the masters. You're going to have guys that are running a couple of seconds a lap faster than others. And, you're going to get a lot of lap traffic. And that was the number 5 car of Gustavo Torres as he runs a little bit wide trying to get out of the way of Sean Rahal. That was a kind move on his part to move over for Sean Rahal. Might want to slow down a little bit more next time so he doesn't run off the track.
Well, there's one thing you can say for him. He's never dull out there.
Yeah, that's true.
And speaking of traffic, this is another thing of being a development series. When you get into the American Le Mans series, you're going to have to deal with traffic at different classes. And it looks like we have some problem here with the number, I can't read.
That's the 25 car. Yeah,
Joel Janko. We'll have some kind of mechanical issues there. So,
and that's a little bit of grayish blue smoke coming out of the exhaust. Perhaps a mechanical gremlin is plaguing him, and he will hopefully not leave any fluid on the track as he's coming on turn 14. He's going to get this thing up into the pits, and it doesn't look like he has had a full blow-up. he's going to get this thing out of the way, and hopefully no fluid on the track, no problems, and, well, there it goes. Well, good thing he's on pit road. And
yeah, but now you can see he dropped some fluid out there on pit road. Yeah. But they'll clean it up real quick. But I really pray nobody comes in hot into that pit lane.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That could be quite dangerous. Number 18, Ryan Booth, Performance Tech leading. Number 14, Sean Rahal. And they are really pulling out a healthy lead.
Booth and Rahal are out for a Sunday drive right now compared to the rest of the field.
Yeah, these guys are really, these are the class leaders. They are the championship leaders. Rahal is currently leading the points, followed closely by Ryan Booth. And, these guys are out there. They're kind of, we talk about throughout the season, we've talked about the battles within the race, the battles within the battles, so to speak. And you're going to have this battle between Ryan Booth and Sean Rahal for this particular race. Dan Goldberg, Mikhail Goetberg, the head of the Masters field, they're going to be chasing after that third podium step. And then you have the overall battle, and you have the Masters class. And so you get Gustavo Torres has, wow, that's a heavy impact.
He's not gonna get back on the track after this one. He hit that wall hard. Unfortunately, when there are no tires,
that looks like it's coming out of Bill Mitchell Bend. That looks like he came out of turn 13, maybe oversteered again and spun to the inside and made an impact with the concrete wall right before going into turn 15. That's an odd accident, and that's a lot of damage.
I don't think I've ever seen an accident in that part of the track. But the good thing is he's moving.
And we got a full course caution.
Yeah, that's not in a very safe place there.
And there's a lot of debris on the track. I wonder if, we were just watching the 25 car of Joel Janko coming around turn 13 or 14, smoking, heading up into the pits. I wonder if there is some fluid on the track in turn 13, heading up into there, and Gustavo Torres got into that, and it sent him off the track in a very odd direction.
Well, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He's been not having the best of races today, and he's been off track a few times already. If he hits them, if he hit a patch, that's racing.
Yeah, that's racing. And it looks like he's, visors up. Yeah, he's moving around. He's probably quite shaken up. That was a heavy hit. That was a really heavy hit.
That wasn't. The corner workers there, they're not in any extreme speed trying to get him out and everything, so he's probably okay. He's probably just complaining about something. He's probably more mad at himself than anything else, and the safety car's there now. They'll check him out, and they'll take their time, make sure he's okay, because that's the most important thing, safety, of course.
And here comes one of the exciting parts about IMSA lights, prototype lights racing, is, you hate to see a full course caution come out because that means we've had an incident like we just saw with Gustavo Torres, but it bunches the field back up. And anytime you bunch the field back up with these cars, you get extremely exciting restarts.
Well, it's turned from a 45-minute race into a 17-minute race now.
Yeah, that's right. And because it all that lead that Ryan Booth and Sean Rahal had built up, now Dan Goldberg is right there in third place, right behind them. John Brownson right there at them. And these guys are going to take every opportunity they can to pounce on Sean Rahal and Ryan Booth at that restart so they can try to keep them from pulling out again.
On the full court caution, they get to drive around a bit. They get to think about the way they've been running the race, any mistakes they might have made. And, we actually do get a little replay here of Gustavo.
It's a little late. Wow.
Oh, but he did hit hard.
That was a tough hit. That was a really big hit.
So I don't blame him at all for taking his time getting out of that car. Sit in the car, catch his breath, make sure everything's working, and wait for the safety crew to come get him out.
And we see Gustavo Torres walking around, dejected, looking at his car, wondering how that happened, and on board a little bit with Dan Goldberg there, getting some heat in the tires. You got Goldberg, Brownson, Goetberg, and then there's Matt McMurray, the 15-year-old. He's doing a fantastic job in this series. Fresh into the series, and he's doing a really fantastic job. We talk about the young guns. He's going to be a real contender next year, I think.
It is quite impressive, considering he cannot drive on the streets right now legally, but he's out there racing with guys who literally have had years and decades of experience. He's beating some of these guys.
Absolutely. He's a fantastic driver. I believe he has come from the USF 2000 series, and we are bunched up. I hope we are, and it looks like the safety car has pulled off. And looks like we're going to be going up to a green flag here as we are heading out of turn 14. Field's nice and bunched up. We've had some attrition, and Goldberg gets a fantastic jump back up third place. He's running up beside Sean Rahal. It looks like he might be able to get second place after all.
He's going to try that turn one turn up, but he made the pass before turn one.
Sean Rahal cuts back to the inside. And, they hit. And it's a little bit of a short track move that Sean Rahal pulled off there, using the right side of Dan Goldberg as a way of making the turn. And looks like that's going to give Ryan Booth a great. John Brownson moved up to second place.
Where did he come from?
I know, that was just out of the blue. John Brownson, number 34, jumps up to second, followed closely by Sean Rahal. Mikhail Goetberg in fourth. Goldberg loses positions. This is the restarts, you get excitement. Sean Rahal moving to the inside of John Brownson.
Yeah, Rahal and Goldberg were too busy battling each other.
Yeah,
Brownson just comes right out there and just surprise.
Yep, there he is. Mr. Excitement. Dan Goldberg lays a right rear off the track, heading around turn number 6. This is really getting exciting.
Well, Ryan Booth made an excellent restart. He slowed down, bunched up the whole field. The whole accordion action was going on, and he just took off and the green flag dropped.
And we see the completion of this lap. John Brownson has lost several places, trying to get one back from Mikhail Goetberg. So this is really turning out to be a fantastic race. And Brownson overcooks it, heading into turn 1.
I think they actually came together.
Did
Him
they
and
touch?
Goldberg. I believe so. I believe Goldberg cut out Bronson while being passed. Goldberg cut over a little bit too quickly and
clipped his nose.
Clipped his nose.
That's Mr. Excitement never fails to amaze at any track. He was pushing it there, and we see Mikhail Goetberg. It's kind of from this vantage point, I guess. There's a replay, and we see Brownson cutting to the inside.
Here's Goetberg.
And Brownson also dropped the right rear off.
It's hard to tell. Ooh, that was close.
Oh, boy. Goldberg barely missed Brownson. That could have been nasty. And, wow.
It was hard to tell. It looks like they might have touched, but Brownson did put a wheel off the track. So it must not have been a very hard touch, but that's all it took.
Well, Goetberg then inherits third place behind Sean Rahal, and they both are chasing after our leader, number 18, Ryan Booth of Performance Tech. So we're going to take one more break, and we're going to come back to watch the close of this race. Can Ryan Booth and Sean Rahal pull it off? We'll see. We'll be right back to round 10.
And catch our breath.
And welcome back to the Cooper Tires Prototype Lights, powered by Mazda, round 10 from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, Road America. What a famous track. What a great race we've got here today.
Road America is one of those tracks it's iconic. If you're a road racing fan, you want to run Road America.
Absolutely. And we're going to take a look at the replay of the restart from lap 14 just before the break, where Goldberg gets a good run on Rahal, and there's a little bit of an incident. Everybody's going to keep their eyes on Goldberg and Rahal, but watch John Brownson make this move to the outside. Goldberg and Rahal put some fenders on each other, and Brownson takes advantage and moves up to second. And still looking at the replay, we're going to go home with Dan Goldberg and check out what it looks like from his run.
Well, he's coming down, going to the front straight, heading down to turn 1, where everything happens, and a little contact there, and there goes Brownson on the outside. Hey, these two guys are learning right now. Just because you two guys are racing, you got to keep one eye open for somebody else to jump on your action there.
That's right. And, Rahal used the right side of Dan Goldberg's car to make turn 1, and those guys beat and banging, and John Brownson jumps on him, makes the pass. John Brownson was unable to keep them at bay, and then John Brownson was involved again in an unfortunate incident at turn 1 with Mikhail Goetberg, and he's dropped back into the field substantially. So, we're here, 7.5 minutes to remain. Daniel Mancini of Performance Tech, number 96, one of the Masters entries, gold and black car there, making a pass on Richard Fant, doing a spectacular job, making that pass into the very tight turn 5, heading up the hill to turn 6. Look at those Masters guys going at it.
Oh, those guys, they got something going on there. They want to win.
Yeah, these guys are really pushing it. We talk about the battle within the battle. These guys are, these Masters guys, it doesn't matter if you're going for first place in Masters, if you're going for 6th place in Masters, they are going to go at each other. And he's got some damage. I can't get the car number there, but the 4 car has some right rear damage on his vehicle from the contact with Richard Fant, and it looks like
That's Francisco de Leonardis.
de Leonardis. He's got a little bit of right rear damage. Doesn't look like it's rubbing on tires, so it might be okay.
Doesn't seem to be slowing him down, that's for sure.
No, definitely not. And you see who's lurking right there in the red 34 car right behind him. That's John Brownson. He wants to get his positions he lost back. If he had no damage to his car and that car is still going 100%, you know John Brownson is going to push it all the way up to the checkered flag.
Once again, back to the whole development scene here. This is where you have to learn that just because you're battling one guy, you got to keep your eyes out for the other guy. Might be lurking from behind, ready to pounce on you like Brownson did earlier in the race. And it's so quick, it can happen so fast where you can be in one position by one lap, the next lap you can be 4 places back.
That's right. I mean, you saw right before our last break, Brownson had made that brilliant move to the outside of turn 1, got himself in second position. He had lost a couple of positions, and then him and Goldberg came together, and now we see Brownson buried back in the field, and Daniel Mancini, number 96, pushing it too hard into turn 5, and he spins it, and he looks like he'll get it going. I mean, it's no damage, no harm, no foul.
And like I said before, just bruised to his ego. But that's probably the other thing, is he was probably too busy looking in the mirror what was coming up behind him that he wasn't paying attention where he was going. Yeah. It's kind of a simple way to put it, but it happens all the time.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, with these cars out here, because they are spec classes, and on board with Dan Goldberg, heading out of Canada Corner, going up through Thunder Valley. Always love those onboard views. You know, one of the things that you're looking at here is these cars are all spec cars, so it's really the driver that separates them. So you're not going to be pulling away substantially because you're going to have a lot of power in your car compared to the guy that's right behind you. So it keeps the racing very, very tight, all separated by drivers. We see Mikhail Goldberg here in 3rd place, another great driver. Dan Goldberg right behind him, another great driver. And, you know, these are just... The cars are all specs, so you're going to have all these different drivers sorting each other out. And if you don't look in the mirror, you're going to have a problem. And if you look in the mirror too much, like you said, you're going to have a problem too.
Well, it's a good lesson for aspiring young drivers, which is what this series is for. Sometimes when when you're just as fast as the guy in front of you and it's going to be very hard to pass, you don't pass. You just pressure them. You pressure them and pressure them, force them into a mistake, and then you make your pass.
And mentioning young drivers, we see the number 19 red and white car of Matt McMurray, 15 years old, and he is in 5th place of a prototype lights race, development series to the American Le Mans Series and IMSA. You know, prototype lights is going into the new unified racing series next year, the USCR, and you know this is going to continue to be the premier prototype development series globally. I mean, there is, if you want to learn to race prototypes in endurance racing and sports car racing, you come to Prototype Lights. In America, this is where you go.
Well, this kid, Matt McMurray, is really impressing the heck out of me right now. Remember that name. I think we're going to be hearing that name a lot in the future.
Yeah, and, you know, just like another young guy last year, Tristan Nunez became one of the youngest winners in Prototype Lights history last year. So we see these younger and younger guys coming to Prototype Lights to, really get their experience level. And we see Ryan Booth. You know, Ryan Booth is a younger guy. He's coming to the white flag for the final lap of round 10, and he's not coasting. He's making sure Sean Rahal is going to be well behind him, and it looks like Sean Rahal is, I wouldn't say Sean Rahal is giving up, but it looks like he's going to enjoy his second position here, as we saw a little debris fly at the end of the front straight there. So that's quite interesting.
Well, he's too far back to really put any kind of challenge up against Booth. So, you know, now is the time where you start listening to all the little sounds of your car and start worrying, are you going to make that final lap? But we got a good battle here for 3rd and 4th.
Well, actually, this is 4th and 5th. Yeah, that's Mikhail Goldberg. The blue car is in 3rd, followed by Daniel Goldberg 6th, number 6 car, and number 19 of Matt McMurray. Now, Matt McMurray is going to try to get Dan Goldberg. This is probably going to be the best battle in this final lap outside of the Masters class that we are going to see. And Dan Goldberg, he's a very experienced driver, and Matt McMurray, he's he's going to be really chasing for that position.
Well, it looks like every corner he's inching up closer and closer. Does he have enough time by the end of this lap? I don't know.
Yeah, that remains to be seen. And also, you always have to think, did Dan Goldberg sustain any aero damage that could make the difference with the impact with Sean Rahal at the last restart? You don't know if that's playing into it also.
Well, I don't expect Goldberg. Like you said, he's an experienced driver. He's probably not going to make any mistakes. It's going to be up to McMurray to make the move.
And even if McMurray gets up there, I have a feeling that all of a sudden Dan Goldberg's car is going to become about 30 feet wide. So I don't imagine that we're going to see a pass here unless Goldberg really makes a mistake. And as we see them coming around Kettle Bottoms, heading up to Canada Corner, turn 12, Matt McMurray, like you say, inching closer and closer.
Well, let's see if he has the maturity to realize that maybe he can't pass him, so he's just going to stay right there and hope that he makes a mistake. If not, you take what you can get.
And we see Ryan Booth coming across the hill down Road America straight, and it is a checkered flag, and the winner is the number 18 car of Ryan Booth of Performance Tech, followed in second by number 14 Sean Rahal, and on board with Goldberg. He is going to take fourth place. A fantastic job by Mr. Goldberg, being able to recover from that incident at the last restart. And fifth place goes to Matt McMurray. Fantastic top 5 finish for a 15-year-old driver in prototype lights. That is amazing. And number 18, Ryan Booth, giving a congratulations to Sean Rahal. Great job. Number 96, Daniel Mancini. This is one of the other battles that we have remaining. And, I believe that is our lone L2 class entry. And we're going to watch these guys come across the line. It's a fantastic job these guys do. Daniel Mancini ends up with a third place in the Masters, and Ludovico Manfredi takes first place in the L2 class. Not to be confused with L1 or Masters, the L2 class is actually the older engine design of the L1 car, so they're actually separated into a separate class. But a great job for him to be able to finish that high in the overall order. But first place of L2 goes to Ludovico Manfredi. And on board with Dan Goldberg, giving a wave to the fans. The fans love prototype lights. It's an exciting race to watch. So a great result. So let's look at the final order of the race. We have Ryan Booth ending up in first for Performance Tech, Sean Rahal in second, and Mikhail Goldberg in third, rounding out the order.
And the Masters class was taken by Miguel Benitez, followed by John Brownson, who recovered to second place, and rounding out the top 3, Francisco de Leonardis.
Well, a fantastic job for all the guys. Well, let's go down into the pits and talk to our winner, Ryan Booth of Performance Tech.
So yeah, we had a great start. Got to first position off the start, and it was one of the longer races I've ever drove in my life. Led lap to lap, or green to checkered, so it was very nerve-wracking. Sean gave me a run for my money the whole time. Dan was right there too. The Performance Tech guys gave me such a good car. They've been working their butts off this weekend to give me everything I got. So just want to thank them, and just stoked on the victory.
Fantastic job, Ryan, and congratulations to Ryan Booth and Performance Tech. Well, that does it for round 10 from us here at Road America. Tony, where will we be next time?
We'll see you next time from the Circuit of Americas in Austin, Texas.
See you then.